The key to your happiness is to take back your pride. Only by standing your ground as a proud man will the world start to bend to your will, and the more men who do this, the better. This is the lesson I've learned from being on the front lines, fighting battles in family courts and through the child support system. I'm one of many men who've been pushed too far. I've stood at the edge and had to make a choice, give in and fold, or stand my ground. The natural response when a man is pushed too far is to fight, but that's not the way. The system and most of society is built to combat men. You're not even allowed to show a hint of aggression. That's why the first answer to male disempowerment is simple: stand your ground. Do not let yourself be overrun. There are lessons here for both men and women. I believe repairing our broken society comes down to one key principle: men must be men. Every man has a responsibility to take back his pride, and every woman has a duty not to interfere with that. The ones who follow these paths will succeed. Regaining power is about resilience and self-respect. When you're at a low point and you've run out of options, what's next? Consolidation. Pull everything back to what you can control. And often that means starting with yourself. You might not have access to your kids. You might have no say in where your money goes. Your name might be dragged through the mud. But your choices, how you live, how you show up, what you contemplate, are still your ground. That's where you begin. There are moments when nothing else can be fixed, but a man can still go for a walk. He can get outside and clear his head. He can decide to stop drinking. He can stop wasting time on things that weaken him, like unworthy women. That's the starting point. Rebuilding relies on simple actions, one at a time. Tighten up how time is used. Set routines that work efficiently. Cut loose the people who've been disrespecting you. When life is falling apart, structure is the only foothold. When you attain internal focus, thinking clears up. There's no more seeking approval or arguing with people who have no interest in your welfare. A man who's building something doesn't need to explain. He just does what he needs to do. How does a man get to a point where he must tap into inner reserves just to survive? It can happen on a battlefield, but it can also happen in modern society. One of the most dangerous things for a man of working age to experience is divorce. Statistics show the most likely way for someone in this situation to die is at his own hands. Without getting into details too much, often the last straw is a call from child support. It can take away any remaining feeling of agency. A man who wanted to raise his own kids now isn't allowed to. Instead, he's forced to hand over money like a criminal being fined for staying away. His role as provider is no longer honoured. He loses the chance to give to his children freely, and the ability to build a future for himself is gone too. Many describe it as feeling like a slave, obligated to provide, with no control and zero respect. The core requirement to feel power and contentment as a man is to provide something of value and to be respected for it. A man needs agency. He needs to make decisions, take action, and see results. That's how you build confidence and personal identity. In tribal society, a man's job was to protect, provide, and bear responsibility for the group. His standing came from usefulness, from being dependable in hard situations. His role had meaning. That hasn't changed. Men today are still wired to seek responsibility, create order, and feel pride in what they do. But in modern society, those instincts are often punished. A man may want to raise his own children, but is denied the right and treated as if he's incapable or a threat. He's told to pay, but not trusted to parent. His role as provider is enforced without dignity. He's treated as optional, except when it's time to deduct his money. In many workplaces and social spaces, the environment is feminized. Assertiveness is questioned. Straightforward speech is labeled aggressive. Men learn to hold back, act cautiously, and keep their natural instincts suppressed just to stay out of trouble. And for single men, there's often an underlying suspicion. If you're unmarried past a certain age or divorced, you're assumed to be emotionally stunted or broken. People wonder what's wrong with you. There's a cloud that follows, as if failing to attach yourself to someone makes you less of a person. It's not easy to stay positive and confident in a world that doesn't want to hear you, doesn't let you lead, and sees you as dangerous just for being masculine. When control is removed and your only recognised value is the wage they're taking from you, it becomes difficult to feel like your life is truly your own. Indestructible confidence comes from knowing that you can survive anything and come out on top on the other side. The only way to attain such assuredness is to do. There comes a point in a man's life when he needs to accept that he is on a solo quest. You may have good friends or family in your life, but they can't really help you to resist and overcome dark forces. No one else is going to rebuild your pride. That has to come from within. You earn back identity through action, structure and direction, by doing what needs to be done when there's no safety net beneath you. Society isn't there to help as a general rule, and offers men no sympathy or understanding. Whatever happened in the past, and however unfair, it has to be accepted as a historical fact. You can't undo it. You can only move forward. That starts by refusing to stay stuck in resentment, anger, or self-pity. Negativity is understandable, but it won't give you anything back. There is also a time to steer clear of relationships. For many men, they bring unnecessary complications and distractions. Many women today have absorbed cultural programming that trains them to mock or diminish men without even realizing it. When asked whether they would feel safer meeting a bear in the forest or encountering a man, they often say, "the bear." Such a ridiculous but common reaction shows the extent to which women's brains have been infiltrated by negative messaging about men. You don't need any of that toxic feminist crap. The path to personal empowerment is within you, and outside influences, including females, may best be avoided until you're ready. But how can you live with honour in a society that seemingly wants men to feel nothing but shame? Start by facing the truth. Men today are not respected, not by courts or the media, not in many workplaces, or even within intimate relationships. The role of the man has been downgraded, mocked and legislated into a corner. If you're not useful in an obvious way, you're ignored. If you are useful, you're often exploited. Some men still find honour in being great fathers, others in throwing themselves into work. But for many, work no longer carries meaning or respect. The roles are still there, but the recognition is gone. That leaves you with one path to create your own meaning and live by it with strength and control. In a world that pushes men toward hedonism and despair, there's honour in refusing to collapse. When everything is telling you to numb out or disappear, you stay focused, you build structure, you carry yourself with discipline, and over time, that creates a foundation no one can shake. Nietzsche said, "The noble man does not ask to be honoured, he becomes the standard." You don't need applause, you don't need permission, you live by your values because they're yours. Living with honour also means recognising when you're being disrespected and not allowing it, ever. Not in a reactive or angry way, but calmly, like a man who knows who he is. You are not the punchline. You don't tolerate passive insults. You don't put yourself in weak positions through intoxication or lack of preparation. It helps to think ahead and pay attention to what's going on around you. Time away from screens gives you space to reflect, plan, and direct your energy constructively. Every man who acts like a man contributes to the change we need. And when you take ownership of your path, you naturally start to feel better. You sleep more soundly and think more clearly. You stand straighter and carry yourself with confidence. Even if progress is slow, it builds. Living with purpose always pays off. It strengthens you in ways others may not notice, but you will. and that's where pride is built.